All right, we're recording. I'm going to share my screen and let's go ahead and hop over to our presentation for tonight. So tonight is all about week 4. We're going to be prospecting on Facebook. How do we take this market that is cool to semi-warm to warm and make it all warm? Okay, so we're still focusing on this idea of creating conversation, engaging in conversations that can turn into relationships, that can turn into business opportunities. So to start with, I get a lot of questions about Facebook business pages and is it worth my time? So I wanted to bring this up and show you all something that you need to consider if you're thinking about this, or if you've had a business page in the past and are thinking about either reactivating it or pouring a lot of energy into it. So this is 2012. This is the organic reach of a post on a Facebook business page. Okay, so this is the Wild West of Facebook 5 years ago, when businesses could set up a Facebook page, find lots and lots and lots of new customers, and talk to them on a frequent basis, on a predictable basis. If you had 5,000 likes, if you made a post, 5,000 people saw it. Facebook figured out, maybe they knew this from the beginning, I don't know, but they figured out, you know what, businesses will pay for that privilege. So that you can see when they began to do this, they slashed the organic reach of business pages in order to monetize that capacity for businesses to be found. So this is going on 2 years ago, and it was under 1%. Okay, so you can see what has happened in the dramatic decline of the business page's ability to be found organically. Now, you still have that same reach if you pay for it. You have to pay to play on a business page. Since you are a Juice Plus franchise owner, it is my understanding that you are not allowed to boost anything that includes the words Juice Plus. Now, you can boost a post that is just an article or healthy living content, but you cannot boost an ad or anything tying people back to your e-commerce site. So consider this. If you do have a business page and it has, let's say it has 1,000 likes on it. Let's keep the math clean. Right now, when you make an organic post, approximately 10 people will even get that served to them in their feed, okay, let alone who knows if they'll actually see it. So when you start paying to boost posts, how much is a like worth to you anymore, right? So I pulled this up. I wanted to show this. This is the back end of Facebook Analytics, and this is a screenshot from the Healthy Living Soundboard Facebook page that I run to educate people about the soundboard, keep people in touch with product updates, and to advertise, without using the words Juice Plus, to advertise the existence of the soundboard to the Juice Plus Nation. Okay, so this page has, at the time I wrote this, which was about a week ago, it had 3,000 likes. We're up to about 3,400 at this point. But check this out, okay? So with 3,000 likes on the page, when we make an organic post, whether it's an article or a meme or something or just an announcement, you can see how far did that post go. Now remember, we've already had 3,000 people tell Facebook, hey, I like this page. I want to see what they have to say. But here's how many people saw that post. Here's how many people saw that post, that post. This one kind of went, quote unquote, viral as far as that goes on its own. Organically. But still, this is a fraction of the people who even originally liked the page. So now we have to pay to get found even by our own existing audience. Okay, remember, we have 3,000 likes. We had to pay to get that even seen by 2,000 of the 3,000 people who already liked it. This was announcing a training. This was announcing end of the month. We want to give away an Apple Watch. Same thing here. So we probably paid 40 bucks. For this to get this kind of exposure. So you're looking at 100, 120 bucks here to get this kind of exposure. So when people ask me, is it worth it for me to start a Facebook business page? Absolutely not. It is not worth your time. because of the way the platform has moved. If you have a long-standing business page that you have maintained, by all means, keep doing it. But when you look at the analytics, I'm sure you're discouraged. So you can figure out, is it worth it to you to get a lot of traffic on that page by paying to boost? I was talking to Jamie Kinsey. Y'all probably know her, one of the brains behind the Healthy Living Revolution. And she said that she has a Facebook group that she set up, a Facebook business page, that she hasn't been real active on, but it is called Juice Plus CrossFit Mommies. And she says, even though she doesn't post on it regularly, she still gets action through it, attention through it, and likes on the page because she made it a public group. And when people Google Juice Plus and CrossFit, which I guess they do a lot, they get served her post in the in their feed, in their Google search, because it's such a unique thing. So if you have a really unique page, it's probably worth thinking about. But if yours just says, Joe Smith's Juice Plus page, or, Juice Plus whatever, you're probably not going to get a lot of hits that way. So anyway, think about that. That's the way, Facebook has moved. It is very unfriendly to a new business owner trying to get organic traction at this point in its life cycle. All right, now let's think about audience. Now, well, let's talk about this point here, the last little point. The good news. What's the good news? Okay, I'm sitting here slamming Facebook. The good news is, as they've downgraded the ability for business pages and business posts to be found, they have upgraded the ability for your personal feed to connect with people. Okay, so let's think through, how do we go about connecting with people on the platform and prospect and even take advantage of our own network that's out there. Okay, so first thing to do is, how do you make lots and lots of new connections on Facebook? Because if you sit back and wait and just watch and wait for them to come to you, it's very slow and may not happen at all. But when you go out on Facebook and search and you create conversation within groups, you are coming across like-minded people and potentially warm networks. So here you have a screenshot, and I'll show you live in a moment. When you search for a topic on Facebook, let's just go ahead and hop over here. I'll show you. So let's pull up a Facebook page. Let's let the little zoom bar go away. All right, so let's pull up a Facebook page. And let's just search for gluten-free recipes. All right, so we create our search, and then we have all these tabs here at the top. Let's switch this to groups. Now we have all of these groups here. The first one at the top has 20,000 members. Okay, so we do have to ask to join these groups, but I guarantee you, when we ask, you will be granted membership to this huge group within minutes or an hour tops. Once you join this group, what you can do is think of this as, again, a potential warm network, because these people are here to find answers and to discuss. If you begin to respond to people's posts, and if you can use soundboard content to post into these groups, you are creating a networking opportunity. All right, so let's hop over here to Soundboard, and I'll show you how this works. Because we do have, oops, it logged me out. We do have the ability for Soundboard to post directly into a group. All right, so let's do a search here for gluten-free using that keyword. Here's a recipe for an acai fruit bowl. I'm probably saying that wrong. All right, so let's share the article, and let's hit Facebook for groups and share on Facebook. So now, once we've joined a group, we can share into that group. Right now, it doesn't give you a drop down of all the groups you're a part of, but whatever groups you are a part of. For instance, I joined Omi's Healthy Living, Healthy Eating, a group, and I've joined a number of Juice Plus groups. So you just start typing and it'll bring up all the groups you're already a member of. And then when you hit post, it will post into that group. So what you can begin to do is build affinity, make your presence known in these groups by contributing content and commenting and conversing with people on their posts and their comments, so that you can make new connections. You know, show up to the party, have something to say, and contribute to the conversation. All right, so as you're looking through your groups, okay, you can, again, these are out there, anything you can think of that's healthy living related. Fitness tips, busy moms. There's tons and tons of Juice Plus testimonials, but you know, you don't really need to join those groups as a contributor because you're already trying to sell. But anything, you know, that's related to healthy living, also anything that you care about, you know, if you're into fly fishing or cycling or whatever, you know, go out and join those groups and contribute to those groups as well. But I think what you're going to find is as you begin to do this, your friend network is going to expand rapidly. And so then thinking back to your personal wall, as you're sharing healthy living posts, you have a lot of new eyeballs, a lot of new potential people to see that content. So again, there's many open groups out there to join. And then once the admin of the group accepts your request, send them a friend request. See what they're about, because they're the ones that started the group in the first place. So make some connections in that regard. Very powerful. Okay, so growing your network. If you do have a business page that's operational, one thing that Facebook does, I kind of put these out of order. Let me switch these. Let's talk about this first. So when you're looking at Facebook Insights and you're looking at what the analytics platform will tell you about your audience, it doesn't tell you as much as Twitter does, and we'll get to that in a week or two. Twitter tells you actually tastes and influencers and interests. Facebook basically just tells you numbers, and this is the only real demographic they tell you. But when I'm looking at the analytics of who has liked the Healthy Living Soundboard Facebook page, I can tell the large chunk of my audience is age 35 to 54 female, which, without making assumptions, ladies, for the most part, I hear from that group of people that they're less comfortable with social media. Okay, they're on Facebook, but they're less comfortable with the other things. So I know when I make posts that I want to resonate with people, I've got to primarily talk to that audience. So that's a really helpful thing that that Facebook Analytics will tell you. Now, the other thing is it doesn't tell you in mass who has liked your stuff, but it will tell you post by post. And so this is an interesting thing, and I'll pull an example of this up. Let's hop over here to the Healthy Living Soundboard page, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because it doesn't allow you to just make a sweeping invite for people to invite your page. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we currently have 3,307 likes on the page at the moment. So when I want to go and see, what's done well, I'll click on Insights, and then I'll click on Posts, and then I'll come down here and see, what's gotten some good engagement in the last couple of days here. So this one's done halfway decent, and nobody's commented on that one, so that's not a great example. All right, let's try this one. Okay, so see, I got 17 likes. What happens, and it's really interesting, especially when you're boosting a post, is that when you click on this, you can see who's liked your page or who's liked the post, but I have, for instance, here, Marianne liked this post, but she has not liked the Healthy Living Soundboard page itself. And so what you can do is individually go through and invite these people to like the page. I've already kind of done this for this particular post. But what you're doing here is you're trying to connect with people who have already reacted to the post. Okay, so you've got all these people that have liked the page, excuse me, they've liked the post, but they haven't necessarily liked your Facebook page. So you can invite them to do that, which ties them, a little bit more directly to what you are trying to do. So here's another, down the road prospecting tool, because I certainly want, these folks to be using the soundboard. So that's a pretty powerful way to connect with people in that regard. Now, when you think about Facebook, and this is the formula for building up your affinity, for how do you go about growing your relationships with people on the platform. How does Facebook gauge interest, and how does Facebook gauge what they show you? Because unlike Twitter, when you click on your Twitter home feed, it's all chronological basically, and you could just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you could technically see everything that everyone has posted. Facebook doesn't quite operate that way, in that they sort things by what they think you are most interested in. And so to build affinity, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we talk about building up a more warm personal network on Facebook. But this is a really interesting way to think about growing these relationships. Okay, so we've got two kind of graphs here. One is how Facebook determines what shows up in your feed, and then this determines the relationships. Okay, so for an object to have more weight on Facebook, the objects that have the most weight are videos. All right, and Facebook does this intentionally because they know that videos stop you from scrolling. They catch your eyes and you watch it. So they've been very overt in their intentions. They say that in 5 or 8 years they want all content on the platform to be video content, and this is why they've introduced Facebook Live. You can now just talk to your Facebook audience. You can announce ahead of time you're going to be live. You can share some kind of class or presentation. You can record it for people to watch later. So next is photos. Of course, Facebook was built itself on sharing photos. And then links. So it's good to share these articles. Finally, the last thing, even though when you open Facebook it says, how are you feeling? That's the thing they care the least about. So you can, put whatever you've been doing or how you're feeling, but the fewest amount of people are going to see that. Now, the actions that have weight are, of course, shares. If you get shares, your post stays active and at the top of more people's feeds for longer. And this is how things kind of go, quote unquote, viral. And then as they get comments, this was happening to me today. I was looking for something very specific in my feed, a news item. And every time I went to Facebook all day, one of my buddies who's a college professor had posted some lecture that he had done, and it kept getting comments. And all day long, it was the top post in my feed. And it was kind of irritating because I was looking for something I wanted to not have to dig. And even though, that post was 8 hours old at the end of the day, it was still at the top because it had gotten so many shares and comments. So that's why Facebook does it like that. And then, of course, as things get likes, that has some weight, but it's less than if people comment on things. So this is why I think this idea of posting into groups and commenting on other people's stuff is such a great way to connect with new people and potentially, new pre-customers. Because again, back to this idea that this is a warm group. You've got people who are interested in a particular topic, and if you're conversing with them, if you're posting on you're commenting on their stuff, if you're sharing it, to your timeline, if they've posted a good article, things like that, you're going to build a relationship with those people in Facebook's eyes, which brings us to how Facebook, gauges who they think you care about. So the affinity play here, the affinity score, is super important. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we talk about your personal feed. But when you have a good amount of activity going back and forth between you and another user, you have a high affinity score. So when you're thinking about not only your personal network, but also meeting new people on the platform, as you're making these comments, again, whether or not you're friends, if you're in the same group and you're making comments, Facebook begins to, put silks of spider web between you two, and you will, begin to see more of what they do in that group. And then if you become friends with them and they accept your friend request, then you will see more of what they have to say, at the top of your feed. So again, a great way to make some new connections and to keep people top of mind and to keep yourself, ultimately the goal is to keep yourself on the top of other people's feeds when you're making your posts. Now, this weight thing has a lot to do with it. So as you're thinking about what gets the most play, on Soundboard, we're always working at finding, we create this kind of content with the graphics. We're always looking for appropriate video content to share, but I'll tell y'all, it's really hard to find good, healthy living content that does not promote competing products. And a lot of Juice Plus's videos are really high quality and well done, but they often have hashtags from past campaigns and things like that. So, y'all have to be the ones that tell me if One Simple Change and what was the one they ran last year? Not Take Healthy Back. That one's pretty recent. There was the one before One Simple Change. They have tons of videos about it, but I don't think that one's being pushed too heavily right now. So we haven't found a lot of great video content for you to find or for you to share through the Soundboard, but we're always looking. And then of course the decay factor has to do with how old the post is. So as you're thinking about, once your posts kind of reach a certain age, and if they haven't got any attention, then they probably won't because of that decay factor. So let's see. It was living life to the plus. Okay. Oh, it is still okay to use One Simple Change. Okay, so I didn't realize that was still being pushed. So that's good to know. Thank you. Because there's a lot of good One Simple Change videos that we can add to the Soundboard for you all to share. So, okie dokie. I did not put our flyer. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick for upcoming. I'll try it like this for our upcoming weeks. Yeah. Okay. So next week we will be all about Twitter. Twitter's functionality around lists, which is a super helpful tool. How to engage on the platform, kind of like we talked about tonight with Facebook groups. How to leverage some hashtags and trends. And then lastly, on March 6th, we will be talking about Buffer and Hootsuite and things like that. So to view past trainings, I'm pretty sure Guy said last week that they are in you all's Facebook team, Facebook page, Facebook group. They can all be found there. And then this one will be recorded, and I'll share it pretty soon with Guy, and so this one will be up here in the next 15 minutes or so. And I guess I hope everybody had a happy Valentine's. late for that, but we'll see everybody next week, and I very much appreciate you all joining, and have a great day.